Hey, what's up, Dean? Safe Performance. We're back at the shop. Today is Thursday. Yesterday was a bad day. Had a little issue with the Escalade and like a little runaway on it. Self-induced, which is cool. But yeah, we had a little trip. I had a little trip with my wife. We went to North Florida and we actually got stuck in Mariana County, Mariana City, I think, wherever all the tornadoes and everything came through, and it devastated a lot of stuff up there. So, wish those people all the safety. But we're back, and the Ranger still here. But I got the radiator. I ended up with Avco radiator, and what I liked. So I did the inlet and outlet on the passenger side. I liked that pointed up a little bit, that straight. It's a little bit shorter of a package, but it's nice and wide. And it's got big cores. So this should work out really good. I'm going to switch the petcock. I'm actually going to use that as a reservoir feed off of there, or I'll just plug that hole there and I have to relocate a petcock to the bottom somewhere, which I'll probably do it on this side so that it kind of drains the motor as well. I kind of like that idea. So I think it's just a 3/8 MPT port, and then I'll have to add one in somewhere for the steam port. Okay. No idea what I was saying, but I took the petcock out. Got to find a fitting. I don't have one. I thought I had one, but I don't have one. And I'll run that to a reservoir, like a remote reservoir. But, yep, got the radiator. I don't want to drop it. That. I got all the header stuff. I got to pick up the flanges, but there's all the tubing is in this box here from Summit, and then there's the little like kind of diamondish shape that goes in between the four tubes when you get to the collector. There's the two collectors, the V-bands, the stainless O2 bung. So all of that is here. Some powder coat that I got. Can't remember the color actually, but anyways, but what I went ahead and did was I also got the starter, and that is a Power Master starter, right there, right there, or Power Max Plus. It's like a mini starter, and it's clockable, which is what I was saying. So I did have it one more hole over, but the solenoid power, or armature power, I don't know, the motor power wire kind of bumped the oil pan, so I'd rather not do that because it's battery life. But it is bolted in. I do have to check the gear alignment with the flywheel. They give you shims and stuff. They give you a shim to go behind the motor to pull it out a little bit. They also give you shims to shim it down. It came with new bolts. That's cool. But right now I clocked it to where it's in the 180 degree position from a standard, which is kind of cool because you can get to the crank sensor. You'd be able to take it out if you had to, but I could plug it in, and it keeps all my main wires down here instead of up near the headers. So I kind of really like that starter. I actually really do like that starter. So the way I'm going to route it is through here. You can see it's a straight run right to the solenoid right there. So I'll take these wires. I'm going to put a new battery cable. I figure I'll just change the end up there. I'm going to pull all that loom apart and probably just change the battery terminal. I'll attach the one power wire, battery cable wire, and then I'll run a new one down with the solenoid wire, which I'll just extend the solenoid wire. That's not a big deal. And I'll clamp them you know, somewhere along here on the front of the pan, or there's these bolts here for like the cam sensor bracket, cam sensor wiring bracket, but you don't use that with the Holley. But I can use them for a P-clamp. I've done that before. It works out nice. It keeps them behind the crank pulley so that they don't get entangled. And I'll just shoot them through and attach them. So that should work out pretty good. I don't know why I'm umming so much, but I got a ton of the wiring pinned out. You can't see it now because it's way up there, but this plug here, I basically only have, I think there's just a couple of wires. I know there's a couple of red and whites that I can't find. Like, I unplugged every sensor on the motor. There's another one under there. I unplugged that, checked the O2 sensors. I went through everything I could see, and I may just be missing it, but I got pretty much all the wires. There's a couple more that I have to do. Let's see if we can see them. Oh yeah, look at that. So you can see right there, those are all the wires, and I tucked them into the fender hole, but every single one of them is tagged. You can see there's tags everywhere. And then that's the plug right there. So those wires are the only ones left. That redwood of white, whatever that yellow is, and redwood of black. I think that's the only ones that are left for me to find, which basically what I'm doing is these are numbered on the back of that plug, and they correspond with the numbers on the back of this plug. You can see there, I believe that's 28, and then 22, 16, 10, 1. So I basically just find the number here, like see the red with the white, and I shove my terminal like probe up in it, and then I use the other probe to go around and start poking wires to see where they go, like to the ECU plug or wherever, and then that's what I label it up there, and that's how I'll determine which wires I need and which ones I don't need, because there's a lot I won't need. Like there's, you know, like I said, the factory kind of pre-wires every harness. They don't change harnesses, so there's all of the cruise control stuff is in that harness, then all the AC stuff, then there's even the four-wheel drive stuff. There's four-wheel drive stuff in that harness, which truck's not four-wheel drive. So all of those wires I will eliminate as much of as I can, and then I'll use the remaining wires to like feed the Holley, you know, and all of that stuff. So yeah, I am plugging away, working on it. So today I got the starter in. I'm going to get it lowered, finish pinning out those wires, and then I'm probably going to start fitting the radiator, because I'm going to have to make some mounts for it and stuff. Crappy thing is I cannot get argon gas. I need to get a couple of bottles of argon gas. We have that big turntable project coming up. Well, it's here. I'm supposed to be doing it, but I don't have the material or nothing like that. So I got to get some argon so I can weld the radiator mounts, but I can at least get the radiator fitted in there, see how it's going to sit, see how my hoses are going to look, and go from there. So I'll be back. All right, I started making it, I got interrupted. Neighbor bought me a cream pie, not a moon pie, but a cream pie. So I'm eating my cream pie while I make my video. I got a lot done. I got the plug. All the wires are finally completely sorted out. Like as you can see, there's four-wheel drive, low indicator. None of that stuff gets used. Then there's a bunch of wires that literally go to nothing on the engine side. A couple of wires I couldn't find. Pin 32 harness connector. Pin 33 harness connector. So those red with the whites, I could not find those on that side. But you see I put the plug back together, clipped it on the motor. So It'd be a good standalone motor. You could make it a standalone motor pretty easily. But yeah, I got the battery cable run, new battery cable. I'll put my cream pie down. So nice heavy gauge. It's a 0 gauge battery cable. I clipped it out of this one. I got to clip this one off. I'll put in a new terminal. I got it all loomed all the way up to the double connector. Alternator wire, I put the heat shrink on. I got to loom that down, come up. I left that like quite a bit long. And then, oh, they're so good. So you can see the loom coming over with the heat shrink. Starter's fully wired now. Like I said, I still got to check for shim. And then I wired the AC clutch engage that goes into the harness down there and then goes across the front of the motor. I tidied up the fuel lines, so they're actually, all the fittings are on now. 90 there, and then I did the 180 with the transducer adapter here. That's the return. Got the filter in. I thought I had a clamp, but I don't. So I got the filter and I marked the flow direction on it because it's really light lettering. You can see where it says flow, kind of. So I got to get a clamp there, and then I'm gonna put probably mount the regulator right here, so that you could turn the pressure down on it. I might do that tomorrow because I have the regulator over there, but I got to double check, make sure I have the ORB fittings. I believe that's an 8 AN regulator. So I got to get the 8 ORB to 6, and then an 8 cap. So then I went inside because we have that thin white box standing up right there is a 7-inch dash. So I went ahead and took all the panels off to access the factory gauge cluster and the bezel. So all of that is off, and this is the pile of wires for the instrument cluster that I'll go through again. I'll go through this most likely tomorrow. I have to find like the blinkers, probably high beam indicator, fuel level, yeah, and then speedometer, which I have. Well, gotta move my cream pie. Oh, right here. That's the instrument cluster pinout. So I gotta go through all of these, figure out what's what in there, and most of the wiring will be labeled out. And I think I found a spot for the ECU, the Terminator ECU, under there. Right in there, in that slot there. And I'll have the harness facing me. Now I'll loop the harness through here, down, and through the firewall so that it comes out in this area down there, right below like the factory harness plug. I'll come out of the firewall, put a big grommet and seal it, and then roll the cream pie. Roll the harness under the booster, across the back of the motor, start stringing it out. I may get to that tomorrow. I'm not 100% sure, but I gotta get time. Hopefully Monday. I gotta go pick up the flanges for the headers and argon for the TIG welder. But for today, I'm out. Getting late. Appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified of new videos coming out. trying to put out as many as I can. And then leave me a comment. I appreciate it. Have a good day.